And we've got Ellyn Dryden. Ellyn's a Senior Improvement Manager from Derby Acute Hospitals, and we're going to talk about your journey.
So I'm from Derby Teaching Hospitals. I'm a Senior Project Manager within the Transformation team. I want to talk to you today a little bit about our background. A colleague who was sort of working on Red Screen before me spoke at one of these events before, so I'm going to cover a bit about maybe what you might have heard before, and then our journey since then, because it's been quite a busy journey. Some of our developments, what some of our trust-wide themes are on the red and green bed days. We have got a bit of a governance structure, and that's to help us get things done, so I'll cover how we look at that. Communication and engagement, particularly with the clinical staff. A bit around our IT solution, our reporting, not so much on that, and then next steps. So basically we use the adapted red screen guidelines and sort of what we call Derby-fied them. So we just made them our own a little bit, put some Derby language in there, which made it a bit more, just a bit nicer for the staff to understand and get sort of like a feel for it. We've always started with this small and then rolled it out. So our first experience of it was trialling some data collection on our medicine, on 2 wards, medicine and DME, and we used those data collection templates that were given to us. We also, just sort of to launch Red Screen, undertook a 1-day trust-wide sort of retrospective audit. So we looked at patients from the day before and looked at whether they were red or green and did they have done what they needed to do that day. And that gave us, just a bit of a starting point to kickstart things. We've got a discharge support officer role in the trust. One of the things that came out from the 2 wards was, wouldn't it be great, they currently are they used to sit over about 4 or 5 wards and help with the complex discharges. One of the ideas that came from the wards when we were trialling during this first week was, wouldn't it be great if we could have a discharge support officer on each of our really busy wards with really complex discharges. So we tested that out and it worked really well. And we've since done some changes to that role in line with the safety bundle to embed that. So we've now got 10 ward-based DSOs, and they started that red screen data collection, and that's currently manual, so they're filling out those templates every day as much as they can. It's not consistent across everywhere, but we have got a lot of data. So we've called those 2 wards the red screen focus wards in medicine. And they're really looking at culture and behaviour change and what they can do differently. So that was our background, and then since then we've done loads of work. So we then had a look at 2 different wards, a TNO and surgery ward. And what we did there was, we don't have focused DSOs on those wards. So myself and another colleague from surgery went down every day at 9 AM, identified what every plan was for the patient that day, and then went back at sort of 3, 4 o'clock to see if everything carried out, identified, was done on that day, and marked the patients red or green. And then the next day, if anything happened since we left, went back and reviewed again whether they were red or green. So we did some quite focused audits on 2 wards. That took quite a while actually. We thought we could do 2 wards in one go. We couldn't. We ended up doing 1 ward and then another ward. And then those wards decided we wanted to go with this DSO role. We wondered what it would do for us, which was really interesting because surgery were less on board with it. So we had a lot of sort of behaviour change there. They were less keen, so it was quite a challenge actually just get them to give it a go, and they did, and they absolutely loved it, which was great. So then we found that we've got some data within surgery and TNO, and then we've got some loads and loads of data across 10 wards, medicine and DME, and we had a look at all of that and identified some trust-wide themes. We have then identified some leads for each of those themes. I'll show you those in a bit. We then recruited 10 more DSOs across more of the medicine and DME wards and 2 for the surgery and TNO. We then set up an operational group where each of the leads across all the themes came together, and then we had 4 red to green focus wards, so TNO, surgery, respiratory and DME. And they all come to that group and discuss between themselves what ideas and what things that could happen to sort of improve things in line with those themes. Pete Gordon kindly supported with a clinical leaders masterclass in April. Conscious this timeline has gone all a bit skew if it's not meant to look like that. And that had some fantastic clinical engagement amongst all of our senior sisters. And we designed these, asked me about when we would go home badges as well to kickstart that. For each of those themes we've set up project groups and we use the learning from ESIS around high performing teams to develop specific aims for each of those groups and to really get underneath what the cause of, we say delay, but what the themes were around their red days. We did more DSO trials, which worked out really well. This seems to be a theme. And then we might do an additional 3 more. So these are the ones that are really implementing red to green operationally on the wards with the 9 o'clock in the morning, the 3 p.m. huddle, and they're the ones collecting all the red and green data. We've also been lucky enough to secure some funding for a red to green coordinator to help out with embedding safer and red to green across the trust operationally. So we've now got 23 red to green wards out of a total of 33 non-elected wards, and that's across both medicine, and DME and surgery. These are our themes. So interestingly, and we've had this discussion today, most are internal. A couple loads that we probably already knew about, but actually what's been really interesting is getting underneath these themes. And I've been sharing today some really interesting findings about some of these. Imaging has been a particularly interesting one. It's not actually about the capacity of the imaging slots, it's about adequately preparing patients ready for their imaging test, getting them there on time. So what we're currently looking at there is testing something out on one of the focus wards where we give that a go. We just say, right, what do we need to do to make sure this patient gets their CT scan adequately prepped? And because what we're going to measure there is the percentage of tests done on the day that are requested on the day. So that's just an example of all of those, but there's loads of other findings from all of those other themes that I'm happy to share. Yeah. About all the other ones. We basically that was them. So it was up to the leads to say, right, what's going on here? So our lead from imaging went and looked into what he thought the issue was with the senior sisters. So what's been dead interesting about this is the communication, because as somebody's already pointed out before, when you go and say, oh, you know, a load of your red days around imaging, that can come across quite harsh. So we've said red day themes, red day opportunities, and it's gone down really well, but we've said it's not a performance measure. So actually this is just a starting point to show us where we need to look, and then we do the much deeper dive. This is how we've set it all up. So these are all of our project groups. Safer spreads across the whole trust and it's embedded within the discharge support officer role. So they do things like pulling from the assessment units early, discharging patients before 10:30, and all of the other things to do with safer. Since the clinical leaders masterclass, we set up a patient experience group around the 4 questions, and their aim is to sort of come out with how can we ensure that our patients are able to answer the 4 questions. So a bit of learning, engagement has not been easy at all. When I've been going out trying to identify these leads, there's been a bit of sort of defensiveness and understanding actually what does that red day mean. But where we've managed to get around that is saying this is a tool for you, is to say, you know, what is it that you're struggling with? Why are those red days on there? What can we do differently? How can we work together to make sure that we can improve things for our patients? We've purely sold it as an improvement approach. There's no performance measuring it, it never will be. We're asking people to use red to green as a tool to identify what they need to make sure patients don't have wasted time in their stay. The groups are supported by transformation, but they're no way led. They're led by imaging therapy, oxygen nurses, all of the others, and then we've got senior sisters, nurses, doctors involved with all of those project groups. And then our next sort of journey is about embedding Red to Green and safer operationally through the Red to Green coordinator role, working with transformation and the operational teams. This is performance stuff, so these are our safer dashboards, similar to what others have shown. I'm not going to go on too much, I've not got time anyway. IT solution, so as I've said, everything at the minute is manual, so we're working with our e-whiteboard embed so that we can embed this as part of everyday practice, identifying red and green through the e-whiteboard. And then as part of that, we'll have weekly MDTs as part of SAFER to look at what some of the themes are and what the SAFER dashboards are telling each of the wards. This is an example of what our e-whiteboard solution will look like. So it's red dots for patients. They'll go on, tick what it is that they're waiting for, and then you can see the patient turns to green, red as you go through. That's just a different display. So we're by no way there at all. We've got loads to get on with, especially around the embedding Red Green and safer as operational practice. We want to make it part of everyday practice. We do think that the Red Green coordinator will help with that, because currently it's just sort of me trying to drive it in the individual project groups as well. We've got the IT solution to embed as well, so loads of work there. We want to ensure consistency across all of the wards that we've currently got, because we know that some of them are having the morning meetings, the afternoon huddles, and some aren't. We want clearings for all the project groups and identifying what the sort of root causes are for red days. And then further developing our measures with a longer time scale to show improvements, because currently they're in sort of over 7 weeks and 7 points. I think I've taken up enough time, sorry.